A millionaire father gave his little daughter a choice no child should ever have to make. Pick a new mom from 5 wealthy women he had invited into their home. But what no one expected was how quickly those women turned cruel, especially toward the one person who didn't belong to their world. She wasn't rich, she wasn't glamorous, and she wasn't white. Yet somehow, she was the one the little girl trusted most. What the daughter chose in the end would leave everyone speechless and change their lives forever. Kara Johnson never planned on working in a millionaire's mansion. She had once dreamed of teaching history, but life had pushed her down a different road. Bills piled up, opportunities closed, and soon she found herself cleaning houses to survive. Still, she carried herself with quiet dignity, moving through life with resilience and grace. When she started working for David Blackwood, a wealthy widower, it felt like just another job, until she met his daughter, Emma. The little girl, grieving her mother's loss, clung to Kara with an instant bond no one could explain. But not everyone saw that connection as something pure. When David invited 5 women to his mansion for a month, asking Emma to choose her future stepmother, Kara found herself in the middle of a contest she was never supposed to be part of. And soon, the cruelty began to show. From the very first day, Kara knew she wasn't welcome. The 5 women, draped in diamonds and designer gowns, looked at her as though she were invisible or worse, beneath them. Emma adored her, running past a glamorous guest to hold Kara's hand. But that affection sparked something ugly in their eyes. Whispers turned to snide comments. They mocked her clothes, her job, even the way she spoke. One woman sneered that Emma needed a mother who could teach her culture, not someone who cleans toilets. Another deliberately spilled wine near Kara just to watch her scrub the stain. The cruelty wasn't subtle. It was sharp, cutting, and relentless. But Kara endured it in silence. She smiled for Emma, never letting the little girl see how much it hurt. Still, each day the attacks grew bolder. Her lunch would vanish from the fridge, her laundry tampered with, and late at night, she'd overhear the women plotting, scheming to convince David that Kara was a bad influence. What they didn't know was that David was watching. Cameras were hidden in every corner of the house, and he saw it all. The mocking laughter, the staged accidents, the venom they unleashed the moment they thought no one was looking. The worst moment came when Emma's beloved teddy bear went missing. The child cried for hours until the bear mysteriously reappeared, torn, dirty, and stuffed into Kara's cleaning cart. The accusation was immediate. One of the women feigned horror, insisting Kara must have destroyed it out of jealousy. Emma screamed that it wasn't true, but Kara was cornered. 5 wealthy women against one black housekeeper, whose word would carry weight. It was a moment designed to break her, to strip her of dignity in front of the only child who trusted her. But Kara stood tall. Instead of lashing out, she quietly picked up the ruined bear, cleaned it as best she could, and placed it back in Emma's arms. No anger, no bitterness, just quiet strength. The women thought they had won. They laughed in each other's rooms, convinced they destroyed Kara's chances forever. But what they didn't know was that their own secrets were about to surface. Lies buried deep in their past, waiting for the right moment to explode. And that moment was coming sooner than anyone expected. The day of the final decision arrived. David gathered everyone in the grand hall, his daughter sitting quietly at his side. The 5 women sparkled with confidence, certain Emma would choose one of them. Kara stood in the back, hands folded, a shadow in a room where she was never meant to shine. One by one, the women boasted what they could offer: wealth, prestige, connections. Their voices dripped with arrogance as they smiled at David, barely acknowledging Emma. To them, the girl was a prize, not a child. When it was Kara's turn, she said nothing. She wasn't part of the competition. Yet Emma's small hand slipped into hers, and in that silence the room grew heavy. The child looked at her father and whispered the words that shattered every illusion. "I want her." Gasps echoed. The women erupted in outrage. One accused Kara of manipulation. Another hissed that Emma didn't know what was best for her. Their voices rose to frenzy, dripping with venom, their prejudice laid bare for all to hear. But then David stood. He had seen enough. With a push of a button, the walls around them came alive. Screens flickered to life, showing recordings of everything. The sabotage, the insults, the cruel laughter behind closed doors. Every hidden truth spilled into the open. The women froze, their masks ripped away in front of the very man they sought to impress. Their power, their reputations, their carefully polished lives, gone in an instant, and as the room fell silent, all eyes turned to Kara. Not the cleaner, not the outsider, but the woman who, through quiet strength and dignity, had already become the mother Emma had been searching for all along. In the days that followed, the 5 women who once stood so proudly in their wealth and arrogance vanished from high society. Their reputations destroyed, their secrets exposed, they became a cautionary tale whispered in the very circles they once ruled. For them, it was the end of an empire built on lies. But for Kara, it was the beginning of something new. No longer just a cleaner in the background, she was embraced as family. Emma's laughter returned, brighter than ever, and David, humbled by what he witnessed, chose dignity and love over appearances. Together, they built not just a home, but a future rooted in compassion, respect, and justice. 2 years later, their lives looked nothing like the spectacle of that mansion showdown. Instead of lavish parties, they dedicated themselves to a foundation helping children in need. Kids who, like Kara once did, felt unseen in a world obsessed with status. Yet beneath the joy of this ending lies a truth we can't ignore. Kara's story could have ended very differently. If David hadn't been watching, if Emma's voice hadn't been heard, Kara might have been crushed beneath the weight of prejudice. Her dignity stripped, her life defined by someone else's cruelty. That's the reality millions face every day. Not every story has cameras to catch the injustice. Not every victim has someone powerful willing to believe them. And not every child gets to see the truth so clearly. So the question lingers, how many more Karas are out there, suffering in silence, unseen and unheard? And when will we finally choose to see them? If stories like this move you, don't just watch, be part of the change. Subscribe, share, and help us bring more voices into the light.